Hey everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Oksana Tademy, one of the co-hosts.
And I'm Bianca Belabre, and this is The Modern Boss,
Yes.
hosted by
The Boss Collective. So what are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about the power of authenticity, which I think is a perfect way to start off this podcast because I think we're just authentically ourselves in general.
Yeah.
So why not start with the power of authenticity and like even talking about how it got us here and like how it just works well in business.
That's true. Because if you think about it, like for those that don't know what the Boss Collective is, so the Boss Collective is a community for women entrepreneurs where we engage, empower, and evolve through these immersive networking events that we put together. And one of the things that we get, feedback on the most when it comes to our events and our experience is the fact that it's so genuine and it's so authentic. And so we thought this would be the perfect way to start off our brand new podcast. Hey, so The Modern Boss, like, I love that name.
Yeah, it's really hitting. Like now that we're like saying it, first of all, this is our first episode, you guys. And it's just a lot. You're figuring life out, you're figuring everything out. And I also think this is like a testament to the power of just doing things. Like we've talked about it for a while. We've contemplated it, but today we were like, no, February, we're doing it. Why not? We're going to figure it out.
Exactly.
So we're out here figuring it out, but I think that's also a testament to authenticity. And so let's talk about how do we think that authenticity can set us apart in business, basically? Like what about our authenticity, or what about being just true to yourself positions you in a better place, in a better spot, or whatever the case may be?
I think that's actually a really good question, because I think one of the pitfalls, I guess, that we can fall into as entrepreneurs that a lot of people don't talk about is that, pressure to kind of be like everyone else or fit in, or, try to take on the lingo, the language, the persona of other professionals.
Right.
And I think authenticity is so powerful, not only because it's literally about you truly believing in who you are and showing up as that person.
That's true.
But it really helps you to attract what's right for you. I feel like when you're trying to be like other people, you end up attracting what's for other people.
Yes.
But when you decide to say, you know what, I'm showing up as the person I was born to be.
Right.
I'm going to walk in it. I'm going to own it. You start attracting the people that are meant to connect with you and that you're meant to serve. So there's something really powerful about authenticity.
Yeah, I would agree wholeheartedly on that. Like positioning, I think being authentic to yourself or being true to yourself allows you the ability to seamlessly operate. Yes. When you're trying to be someone else, or when you're trying to fit into a mold, or you're trying to basically run the course that everybody else has run, you have a very hard time trying to keep up this persona, this life, or it just bogs you down. It feels heavy. Or sometimes, like you said, it just doesn't work the way that you want it to work.
Exactly.
Because it's not for you. Like, I honestly started off as a medical professional. Like, that's how I ended up coming here. I was going to be a doctor of physical therapy. That's who I thought that I was.
Wow.
And I really don't know how I think that I just followed what I thought society wanted from me to guide me to what kind of school I should go to what kind of profession I should have. And then God has a way of being like, no, girl, I said, I said that you're supposed to be this person.
It's like, nope, this way.
Right. Like, you're not listening.
Exactly.
So I think that and I mean, I found it so difficult. It was not the easiest thing for me to do, to be able to go through school. Thankfully I'm a good student, but there were times where I'm like, this doesn't bring me joy. And I didn't see it as this wasn't who I am. I just thought okay, well, I guess most people just live like this.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I can totally relate to that too, because you already know part of my story. Like, my whole life was about music at one point. And so it's like I hit my 20s and like did a whole 180 in life, you know? And for me, it was like I got so caught up in my gift that, you know, I didn't really take the time to figure out what my purpose was. And that's what made it hard for me. And so when I took the gift away, I had to face myself and figure out, who the heck am I?
Right.
You know, like, who is Oksana really? And like, what is it that I'm truly passionate about? And what was I really put here to do? Like, why was I born? You know?
That's a deep question.
Right. And I think being willing to have those uncomfortable conversations with yourself and to face yourself and to be willing to strip all the roles, all the titles, all the giftings, and just look at you and say, like, who am I really? And like you were saying, like, from the time that we're born, like, we're given a name, we're given a social security number, we're given an environment to grow up in that tells us what we can and can't do, who we can and can't be. And so I think being brave enough, it takes bravery and courage to just look at yourself and be like, all right, bump all that, I'm just going to figure out who I am and I'm going to walk in it, you know? I
mean, it really takes bravery. Like, we're saying this like, oh, like, I'm being authentically myself. I'm about tired of that word at this point. But I'm being true to myself. But it really is not the easiest thing to do. Like, it's so difficult to do because, like you said, society gives you everything and your parents give you everything. And then when it's time to decide what you want out of life, it's like, how do you even get there? Like, how do you even make these choices? Like, what's something that like helped you decide, like, or what was a sign that was like, nah, girl, like, this is the right path? Yeah. Or if it wasn't a sign, then maybe like, cause like for me, I got dismissed from school.
Yeah.
And that was like,
like, oh,
I was like, oh, wait a minute. You mean I'm not going to finish grad school? Like, you know what I mean? Like, so, and I still, and still after that, I still pursued a medical profession. I didn't like take that as like, oh no, this is not for me. We're resilient. We are resilient, okay? We are defiant and we are resilient. So we will do what we, no, I did not. I didn't take a pause. I went right back into school. Okay. Because I thought the degree was what you needed. Like, I thought that you need to have the degree. I thought you need to have the medical profession to reach the certain amount of money to make the house and get the car and get the family. And then that's just how it works. Like, I went to a performing arts high school. I should have known that I was a performer.
It's like, hint, hint.
Hint, right. Like, I was performing most of my high school career. And so I should have taken the hint, but something after I graduated made me feel like, oh, you have to pursue this traditional way of life. And so I feel like being dismissed from school was the beginning of the slap in my face.
Okay.
Or the yank.
I can see that. Yeah, so it's interesting, you know, and like you said, what's the sign? I would say that, like, because authenticity to me is about walking in purpose. Like, there's no getting around that, right? And so I think the main key, the main sign for me has always been provision. Okay. So like, perfect example, like I've come to terms with a new level of myself recently. And
ooh, explain. Explain, so, girl.
You know, I remember, like, I kind of told you a little bit about this, how I pivoted in business and everything. And I went from focusing on design to focusing on strategy, but it was deeper than that. It wasn't just about strategy. It was about the fact that I love helping people discover who they are. Right. And branding that and building a brand out of that, you know? And so for me, I was like, who am I really called to? And I was like, I'm called to thought leaders, period. People that are trailblazers, people that are pioneers in their industry that are going to be changing perspectives and shifting things. And once I said that out loud, it was kind of like that gut punch, like, yeah, because you're one. You know, and I'm just like, ooh, no pressure. You know, and I told you before, like, I knew that I wanted to get paid for what was on my mind. Yeah. I just never like put two and two together that meant that I was a thought leader. Yeah. You know? And so now that I'm walking in that, like, things are being attracted to me. Of course. Like, they start crazy. Showing up. It's manifesting. Like, yeah. I'm getting messages, but it's alchemy. Phone calls. Like, it's weird. I'm just like, okay, so all I had to do was accept who I was. Yeah. It's crazy how that works. And
It's
just
crazy.
abundance. Like, okay.
Yeah. Once you start just showing up in who you authentically are, you literally will attract everything that is for you.
Exactly. So
It's
I feel
insane.
like it's the acceptance that leads to the abundance.
Oof.
You know, that's what it is.
You need to say that again.
The acceptance leads to the abundance.
Yeah.
Once you accept it, that's when you start attracting abundance.
Yeah.
You know?
So, I mean, that's easy peasy. Yeah. But like, what about when you feel like judgment?
Judgment?
Like, cause
To be
we're
honest.
okay. I'm gonna pause you real quick.
Yeah.
We're both from Caribbean families.
Oh yes.
So
I already know.
how do you overcome the feeling of like, this is not what you're supposed to do, this is not traditional, we can't support this, or how are you gonna make it? Like, there's so many things and fears and judgments, and like, how do you overcome that? Like, how do you move past that? And have you experienced that?
I have in
Okay.
some ways. So like
Okay.
when I was first like in high school going to college, and I said I wanted to pursue like music and the performing arts, my family was like, "Oh, how's that going to pay your bills? What are you going to do?" And you know, like the concern about bills that were not theirs was like so amazing to me. And so
The bills that were not theirs is taking me out. Okay.
And so I was like, you know what? Like, if I'm going to pursue anything, I want it to be what I'm passionate about, period.
Right.
And so I had to be willing to let people be offended about my life choices.
Ooh.
And once I was willing to let them be offended, they eventually got over it. You know, once they saw me walking in it, it was like,
Dude.
okay, I can see how that, you know.
Be offended by my life choices is
Yeah,
a bar.
you can be offended. That's your right to be offended by my decisions for my life, but I'm the one responsible for fulfilling this purpose and walking this out. So I
Yeah.
have to be accountable to the choices that I make.
And it's so called on you, like it's like you can't even deny it.
You can't shake it. Like no matter where you go, like it's just there, like nagging at you. Like,
Yeah.
girl, you're supposed to be doing something else. Like, what are you doing with
It's
your
like
life?
that reoccurring thought that you like keep ignoring, like this podcast.
Yeah.
We just kept ignoring it, kept ignoring it, kept ignoring it. But every time we would talk to people, y'all, they would say, "Oh, you guys should have a podcast. You guys should have a podcast. Oh, this is like a podcast. Oh my God, I can't believe this would be a great podcast episode." It was like every other person we would talk to, and it would have nothing to do with podcasting. It would have nothing to do. It would have nothing to do with anything, y'all. And everybody would just be like, "Yeah, podcast," and we were just like, at one meeting, me and Oksana literally looked at each other and we're like, all right.
It's time. Let's just do it. Let's just get it over with.
All right. We get it. Podcast. Coming to you. Like, we get it. We got it.
Coming to a computer.
We're going
Near
to
you.
make a podcast. Yeah, no, I totally feel you on that. Like, overcoming the fear of it.
Wait,
What's
so
up?
since that happened with the podcast, does that mean this is happening with a conference too?
Lord have mercy. Throws all the papers. I mean,
coming.
at this point, yeah,
It's
because
coming.
like, my heart and my soul. Oksana, like, we work very well together because we're like both sides of the coin.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we both ideate very well. And we both think of processes, but she thinks of processes different than I think of processes.
Yeah.
I think of processes of like, we need this, da 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 da. What about this? What about that? And she's like, here's the system, here's the layout, here's the. And I'm like, girl, you can figure out the system because I don't know how we're gonna do it. I just know we need to. Like,
Yeah.
and it just works. It really just works.
Exactly.
And so, as she says, conference, I'm just like, immediately my mom is like, speakers, sponsors, chairs, conference room. Like, it's just all coming to me. So that's why my heart and my soul just like, every time people say conference, I'm like, ooh, hold on. So many things.
And my mind automatically goes to the back end, like, oh, ticket sales, campaigns.
Yeah.
So it just
It works.
Yeah,
It works. So yeah, conference comings. If you guys are interested in
Yeah, if you want to
sponsoring
sponsor, be a vendor.
your hotel, you want to give us a conference room.
Listen, we're here for it.
Listen, we're here for all. We're here for all the things. If you want to sponsor us and give us an opportunity to put your brand in front of our brand and collaborate,
let's do it.
Let's do it. So yeah, podcast coming soon, conference coming after.
Definitely.
So yeah, but we were talking about the judgment. I also experienced judgment when I risked it all. So I read this book called The Alchemist. I don't know if you've ever read that book. You've heard of it probably. It's a pretty popular book. A lot of of your pretty prominent celebrities who have reached very big heights have read The Alchemist.
Okay.
And I have it if you want to borrow it. Yes. So it's basically I can't remember everything because I read it almost 9 years ago now. Okay. It's basically a tale of following the journey, and everything will come to you along that journey. It's basically bringing, if you pursue what you want to pursue, and if you fully stand 10 toes down on what you believe your life is supposed to be, everything that's supposed to be for you will be for you, and it will come to you. And so that gave me the confidence to quit my job, which was in healthcare at the time, and say, I want to be a social media manager, when there was nothing called a social media manager at the time. Social media manager is a very new term. I've been in social media since 2014, and that wasn't a term back then. Wow. So when I quit my job in 2016 to pursue this passion of this is when Instagram was just getting popping. Instagram was what TikTok is now. It was just kind of on the scene. It was just taking up everybody's attention. And I just saw something that was oh, this is going to take us over. This is going to take us over. Right. And so, yeah, so I graduated from grad school because first of all, I was going to quit grad school. Shout out to Cortland because he told me to stay in grad school. Because I had figured it out. Right. I figured out what my calling and my purpose was, and I was like, I'm out of here. I don't need to read a book. I don't need to go to another class. I'm out. And thankfully, he was smart enough to be like, you're going to get a master's in 3 months. Just get the master's. So I was like, oh, you might be right. So, but nonetheless, so I get this master's, and at the end, literally a month after, I'm I'm quitting my job. I'm going to be a social media manager. And they're like, what are you even talking about right now? And at the time I had a blog called The Girl with Style, and they were like, what are you saying? What are you talking about? My mom was concerned. My dad was concerned. I mean, calls in the late night hour, are you sure? Because I told my mom I was going to quit my job. I was like, Mom, I'm quitting this job. And she was like, oh, okay. You know how people, you tell them a dream of yours, and they're like, oh, okay. And I'm like, all right, well, at least I told her. Right. I'm not blindsiding you.
So when it happens.
So it did happen, because I was dead serious about quitting this job. Wow. So I quit the job, gave him my 2 weeks, and I told her, I was like, yeah, next week's my last week. And she was like, she crashed out. She crashed out. She told everybody in my family, all my family members were calling me, are you sure about this? Don't you want to save up money? Don't you want to use your master's too? I said, I don't want to spend another day. One more day. I don't want one more hour in health. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm out of here. I'm gone.
That's it.
And yeah, that didn't go over well at all. Didn't go over well. So
oh my God.
I had a lot of self-doubt, honestly. I can really admit that. I've had a lot of self-doubt, and I actually remember talking to a friend of mine, because this was even a little bit after I went full-time, not full-time as an entrepreneur. I still had side gigs, and I still worked at an agency, but I remember talking to a friend of mine that I went to grad school with, and I was telling her, I was like, this is I think I might have to get a job in healthcare, because it's just not traditional what I'm doing. And it's and she was like, is anybody paying your bills?
That part.
And I was like, no. And she was like, are you asking anybody for money? No. And she was like, so what's the problem here? And I was like,
if Gather Me was a person.
Shout out to my friends. Cause
That's awesome.
I was like, you are so right. Like, duh.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so that's what. So after she said that, that's what I remember. Like I literally remember this conversation over and over and over. So whenever I ever have some self-doubt, I'm like, is anybody paying your bills? Are you asking anybody for money? No. Move right along. Proceed. Proceed, because God makes a way. And he, for some reason, not for some reason, abundantly he keeps depositing into that account. So,
Period.
We keep thriving. So,
but you mentioned something important though, like having the right people in your ear.
Oh,
while you're being authentic is key.
You know what?
Okay.
I'm grateful that I've never really experienced like aside from like the elder generation, like our parents, our aunts, our uncles, whatever the case may be, because they grew up in a different era. Like
exactly.
it is to be expected, right? Mm-hmm. But then they come around. Like
exactly.
Now they're like, oh girl, we love to see you on the social medias. Mm-hmm. But for sure. And I love y'all. But I really didn't have many people, and thank God I didn't have many friends or family that would discourage my dreams.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. I think I know my mom definitely has been like super supportive.
Good.
Like in many ways. Like so she definitely has been one of the people that like, you know, is always supporting me or encouraging me. Even if she can't come, I should be like, you know, go with God and like, you know.
Oh, hey mom.
Little sweet Jamaican lady.
Yeah.
So that's my mom. Shout out to my mom. And then also having a partner.
Oh yeah. Your partner is equally creative. Yeah.
Listen, so it wouldn't have worked otherwise. Okay.
Yeah.
It would not have worked.
I'm manifesting mine.
Listen, he's coming.
Yes, I believe it. I believe it.
But having a husband that is also like super supportive and that's willing to let me shine too.
Yeah.
Is like really big.
But even having a husband that understands your level of creativity,
yes.
like I feel like it's such a gem because like he's equally as creative as you. Mm-hmm. And what I like most about your relationship, which you never asked me, but here's my 2 cents. What I like a lot about your relationship is you will be of service to him and he will equally be of service to you. Mm-hmm. And it's not like an ego thing. Like you guys are able to be, because I've seen you work on his, like his dream, right? So you'll come in and Oksana is like, hey, this is what you have to do. She's like assistant mode. Like it's like she is just here to support him in any way. Mm-hmm. And then at the Boss Collective or anything that you do, you'll see him like he's sitting behind the camera, he's taking interviews, he's outside, like he's literally of servant, like, and I think that that's such a beautiful thing, like because it's not typical. And it's beautiful to see that like you check your ego at the door and you're like, okay, the family is working on this now, and the family is working on that now, and you're able to let each other shine equally without any hiccups, without any like.
Definitely.
And you can't even feel it. Like sometimes I feel like when a spouse may support another spouse, you could kind of see like they don't want to be here. Yeah. Like they kind of aggy, you know? But like you can't even like he's like, "Oh, you want another interview outside? Here? What you want to do?" And I'm like, "I love this for you guys. Like it's so good."
Yeah. Well, shout out to you, babe.
Shout out to Daniel. Surprised he ain't here cuz usually listen.
He probably would have come too if he
I'm
didn't have the
telling
kids.
He would have set this whole thing up.
Listen. Why you playing? Maybe next week.
I'm trying to tell you.
But point being,
yes,
it's very important to have people in your circle, in your ear, that are supportive of you on your journey. And I think that has a lot to do with you being able to remain authentic and to feel free enough to be yourself in any environment, is being around the right people. Because I don't care who else is around. Like if I have my core people around me, like who cares?
It's just who it is, yeah.
So it definitely matters.
Oh, for sure. Definitely you have to surround yourself with the right people, and the people who will pour into you.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of people who definitely support you, but my friends and my family and honestly strangers, like, and most of the people from the Boss Collective will pour into you and tell you the vision that they've seen for you.
That's true. Wow. They do.
They do.
They really do.
They really do.
So we love y'all. Thank you.
We love you guys. We really do. And so they'll tell you, you have to have those people around because sometimes, like I said, you can like have that calling on you and it's nagging you in the brain and you're like hearing it all the time. But then when you hear somebody else say it, you're like,
confirmation.
Okay. You get those chills and you're like, all right, God, I heard you.
It's
loud
the
and clear
confirmation for me.
Yeah. Loud and clear, God. Got it. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you about, so we talked about all of these like backstories of like basically how to be authentic and our experience in being our true selves. What are some tools that you think entrepreneurs should be using to, one, tell their story, but also showcase their authentic self?
I was going to say ChatGPT, but if you want it to be more humanized, I would say Claude AI.
What's that?
So Claude AI is another, it's like a GPT basically, but you can actually customize and make it more human, like as far as like the tone of voice and how it sounds.
Okay.
So I know most people are using ChatGPT now, so if you want something that's a little bit different, I got you, Claude AI. But yeah, so you can kind of let it know what you want it to sound like. And a lot of people don't know this when it comes to GPTs, but you can literally tell it what you want it to sound like.
Yes.
Like you can ask it to sound like a celebrity, to use certain tones. You can ask it to use the styles of different people that you look up to.
Yeah.
So you can definitely customize your own language, I guess, your own vernacular using a GPT. But yeah, that's my suggestion.
A lot of the times I'll tell it to like sound witty or sound quirky, or like you can give it different types of personality traits that you want it, like more professional, or rewrite this to sound more grateful, or whatever the case may be. So you can kind of like designate it to tailor your message. But you can also upload some stuff that you've written, and you can ask it to write like you.
Yeah, so you can definitely customize it. There's, the power of prompting, right? Like the prompts that you give determine the results that you get. So the more specific you can be, it can be really useful as a tool.
For sure. I think my favorite authenticity tool would be Instagram stories.
Ooh, okay.
I love a good stories. Like, I think it's the easiest way to tell people about your day. It's a great way for you to document your day. A lot of people could probably use their Instagram stories and then duplicate it as a reel. Right. It's like a quick way to get like a vlog. So I just love Instagram stories. Like it keeps people engaged, right? So like if you're not constantly posting on your social media, it's a way to keep your audience engaged and keep people kind of like having in discussion with you at all times. So I love Instagram stories. I love watching them and I love making them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just starting to like stories a little bit more.
Yeah.
So I can relate to that.
It's like an easy peasy lemon squeezy. Like it's a great like, and it doesn't take much. Like it could be just like a little 1-2.
Yeah.
It can just be like, hey guys, just checking in. Like what's up today? Like what are y'all doing? Like you can talk to it like it's a group of people that you know, because it literally is a group of people that you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll film the story and I won't post it until the next day. Because I'm always on social media, I'm very big about being present in most situations that I'm in. So if you see me out with a camera, 9 times out of 10, I'm literally just filming on my phone and I'm not on social media. But I'll leave the occasion, leave the event, and then I will like put it in chronological order the next day.
Nice.
Yeah,
like that.
But that's also like safety too, because
Okay.
I'm not trying to tell people where I am when I am there.
So Instagram stories, Claude AI, and if you do prefer ChatGPT, like just making sure that you're taking the time to like actually make it you, right?
Yeah.
Don't just try to replace you with the software. Like
Literally.
actually like, put you in there and then allow it to help you to edit it or refine it.
Okay.
So just use it the right way.
So that is the end of our segment called Quick Boss Tips. So we're going to transition into another area of discussion, which will be our business trends.
Okay.
And this week on the Trend Report, we're going to talk about AI.
Okay.
It's funny because you just mentioned it.
I sure did.
So we're going to talk about AI, and is it taking over, and is it going to be like the movies?
Okay, so here's what I'm gonna say, right? Because I feel like with every new innovation, there's like a group of people that are just like, oh my gosh, it's gonna take over the world, and it's gonna take over all of our jobs, and it's gonna take over. And it's like, okay,
It's gonna be like that.
as with any other innovation, you learn about it and then figure out ways to help it to like for it to help you to maximize what you're doing, right?
Right.
And to be more efficient in what you're doing.
Right.
Because otherwise, like you can't fight it. It's here. It's not going anywhere, right? And so the best thing to do is to learn it and then apply it to what you're doing so that you can be more efficient, more productive, and actually enhance what you have to offer to the world.
Right.
And I think that perspective is what keeps you ahead of the curve instead of being, afraid to be left behind.
I agree. So there's a report that about 35% of businesses are now using AI tools.
Good.
And most people think AI will steal their jobs. So I think that the 35%, one, that I feel like that's really low. Like 35% of businesses use AI. That's not like a lot of businesses.
It's not, but I'm still happy that it's, better than like 20 or.
Yes. But I also feel like there's an opportunity there. Because we still have the majority of business owners who do not know how to use AI for their business.
Exactly.
And we're not even talking about businesses like corporate businesses, larger businesses, like those bigger corporations. They need somebody to teach them how to do these things in any field. It could be in marketing and branding and business operations, whatever the case may be, but it could be as simple as setting it up on a Zoom meeting so it takes your notes. Like there's so many different types of AIs that are emerging in the marketplace that I think there's an opportunity for businesses there. And I do, as far as like the people who think that it might steal their job, a few of you, there's a real possibility. There is a real possibility. So another trend that we're gonna talk about is hustle culture.
Okay.
I feel like
I have a lot of thoughts on that.
I feel like it's kind of dying down. Like I think back in the day, like when we first started entrepreneurship, like 9 something years ago, it was like grind, 9 a.m. I mean, like you're up at 5, you go to sleep at 12, you're back at it. Like it's like hustle. And like this new generation is like absolutely not.
Yeah. And I love that for us, actually. Well, to an extent.
I was like,
there's a balance, right?
I feel like there has to be a half hustle.
So first of all, this is just me. I don't like to use the word hustle because the actual definition of it is not a positive thing. I'll use grind or, like work hard or like work ethic or something, but you'll rarely ever hear me use the word hustle. But that's neither here nor there. But the culture itself, to me, I feel like there has to be balance in anything. You know, like, yes, have a work ethic. Yes, work hard. Yes, put in the work and the consistency and the discipline because it's required to get to any level of success.
Yes.
But as much as you work hard and you schedule time for everything else, make sure you're intentional about scheduling time for your own well-being.
Facts. That's
where I think the balance has to be. And so
there can be a grind.
Yeah, there has to be to an extent.
Because it says like 70% of Gen Z would rather be self-employed than work a 9 to 5, right? So 70% is a lot of people.
It is.
That don't want to work a 9 to 5. So one, we need some of y'all to shift because we need you to work that 9 to 5. But also, will they all be able to, like, has our generation made entrepreneurship look more glamorous than it really is?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I say that because, to be honest with you, out of that 70%, how many actually have the drive that it takes to make it? You know what I'm saying? So like, people think that success is what you see on Instagram. Like, I'm in Bali this week and I'm here that week and living my best life and being cute. And yes, you can enjoy, what you've worked for to an extent, but at the same time, like the part that they don't show you is the nights that you're staying up, and the time that you're putting in and the lessons that you're learning, dealing with clients and dealing with customers and trying to grow an actual business, which is basically like a whole entity in itself. Yeah. Right?
But it's also the failures that they do not document.
And the failures. Yeah.
Because we fail a lot. and we fail often.
But see, and I love that though. And I have a very different perspective of failure. I think you have to, as an entrepreneur, have a different perspective of failure.
You have to kind of just let it roll. Because
otherwise, you won't make it.
It would be traumatic. Like,
oh my gosh.
if you can't handle failure, which actually I don't think this new generation really, like, this is the participation trophy generation.
Yeah, it's like, well, E for effort.
Like, our generation was like, nah, I need number one. Like, we ain't, like, even with grades, like, we weren't playing B's. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was like very rigorous, like very much competitive. I'm competitive to this day.
You have to be to an extent.
You have to be to an extent. And so I think that if you are an entrepreneur and you can't handle failure, then it's just, this is not for you. This is not. I fail at least once a day.
Yeah. Like,
there's something that has like been, damn, I took an L on that. Like this morning, I definitely took a big L. But like, I'm just like, all right. I put on some motivational words. And I put on a sermon.
That's your thing.
I had to, because my mind, I was talking bad to myself. And I was like, why would you do that? That's so stupid. Da, 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 da. Like, I feel like this morning I self-sabotaged myself. Oh, wow. And I was very aware that I did it. So I was very much like punishing myself through my internal thoughts.
Got you.
And so after a while, I was like, this thought has to end. Like, it was okay. You can tell yourself, like, do better next time. But after, like, it was cute. Like, all right, we're done. Like, yeah. You wouldn't talk to other people like that. So why are you talking to yourself like that? And so I had to throw on a little bit motivational. I had to throw a Sarah Jakes Roberts in there real quick because I needed somebody to turn this around this morning. But I said all of that to say, like, failure is inevitable.
Yeah. In
this realm, like, we can make it look cute, but just today alone,
I don't know.
Just within this 3 hours, we've had a few failures. Yeah.
I mean, I look at it as lessons, but yeah. You know, for me, this is how I think about failure, right? I had to reframe it in my mind. So for me, people are like, you know, I don't want to fail. I don't want to do this. And they allow it to cripple them or like paralyze them from moving forward. For sure. So my response to that was, okay, you know what? Bump it. Let me just dive in, fail as fast as I can so I can start succeeding.
That's true.
So that's how I look at it. Like, whatever lessons I have to learn, whatever things I have to tweak, I dive into it head first. Yeah. You know, and that approach has been so helpful for me because it's like, failure doesn't stop me. Even if it happens, it doesn't stop me. Yeah. You know, because I know I'm just one step closer to success. I love that. So what would you say is, so we got to failure because of hustle. So what would you say is like a hustle strategy? Like, what's something that you like, if I need to level up, this is my wild card. This is how I get things done. Like, do you have like a method or a strategy or a way about doing things, organization? Do you mean like in response to failure or like just like no, just hustle, like grind. Like, if you're in, like, for me, for instance, like, if I'm in grind mode, then there has to be like a 18-hour day. Like, I have, like, if I'm supposed to be like grind, I need to get these things done, like, I have to have a day that I'm like, okay, you're sacrificing a little bit of sleep. You know that, like, you'll make it up on the back end, but there's gonna be some things that you're gonna miss. Or I will even like say, okay, for this week, I'm not going to any meetings. I'm not doing this. I'm not doing anything extra because I have something to do. So there's like a little bit of strategy within the hustle. So yeah, I think for me, I had to get to the point where like I was willing to be honest about the type of entrepreneur that I am. And I hate routine. I hate it. Yeah, I'm not a fan. I hate it. I could be consistent, but I hate routine. Can't do it. And that's the creative in me, right? And so because I know that about myself, I have to trick my brain into consistency.
Ooh.
And so what I'll do is I'll say, okay, this is my time block to get this done. And these are my days to get these tasks done. And so by doing that, I still leave room and flexibility for me to do it at my pace, but still get it done within the right time frame. And so that's what I had to do for me. I mean, I work for everybody, but for those of us who are super creative and don't like to feel boxed in or like, you know, confined by routine.
That's what it feels like.
Yeah, that's what I had to do for me. And so I still get stuff done on time. You know, I set my deadlines, but I give myself space so that way I can do it at my pace and then leave room for life, right? Because I'm also a mom, right? So I'm a mompreneur. So
and a wifepreneur.
And yeah, all the things. So all these things are happening, you know, 24/7. And I'm not, you know, it's not like I drop my kids off at school. Like I homeschool and I'm with them like 24. I do life with my kids. And so having that, you know, flexibility is everything for me because it still gives me time to, you know, give myself grace for life when it happens, but then still meet my deadlines and my goals.
Yeah, that's important. I don't know how you do it, but one day I will be taking notes.
Prayer and supplements.
Supplements are important. Supplements are important, actually. My doctor told me that today. So yeah, okay. So I think that's a great strategy. That's important.
I like yours too.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, I think that's it. I think that's all we have for today.
Well, this was a great first conversation. I think so. You know, and I think this is the perfect segue to maybe potentially our next topic, which is going to be talking about imposter syndrome and other like self-limiting beliefs. I feel like this was a really great segue to that.
Oh, for sure.
So we might be talking about that next time.
Yeah, self-limiting belief. Oh my gosh, we can talk for hours about that. But do you want to talk about like maybe how you feel right now? Like how do you feel about what we're doing? And
I'm here for it.
Yeah, are you excited?
Yes, I'm excited for it because we've been talking about it for so long. So it's like, why haven't we done this already? You know? Just get out there and talk our talk. You know, and inspire people along the way. Like that's what it's about. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I'm like nervous. I'm a nervous wreck. Yeah, I really am. Can't even lie to you. Like I'm excited about it, but I'm also like, oh my gosh, like we have opened a box. We have. And I'm excited because you never know. Boxes lead to places, you know? So we'll see. We'll see where it leads. But, you know, this is great. Well, if you're watching this and you've gotten this far, tell us some ways that you have been operating as your authentic self in the comments. Definitely. And also tell us what you liked about this episode, what you didn't like. Be honest with us and share with us some tips that you want to see us talk about, maybe some topics. We're open and we're here for the people and we're developing this podcast with you. So if you have anything that you want us to address, anything that you think is important for us to share, then we are open books. Definitely. And we'll be doing our Ask a Boss segment soon. So make sure you send some questions that you have for us so we can answer them right here on The Modern Boss. The Modern Boss! All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Yeah.